For years, we've been promised transparency on Epstein, but in this moment, that promise was put to the test.
Questions recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Patel, before you joined the FBI, you had very strong opinions about what the FBI was hiding regarding Jeffrey Epstein. In a September 2023 interview with Glenn Beck, you said the Black Book is under the, quote, direct control of the director of the FBI. In December 2023, you said, let us know who the pedophiles are. Even for a short time after becoming FBI director, in February of 2025, you tweeted, quote, there will be no cover-ups, no missing documents, no stone left unturned. In June, you told Joe Rogan, quote, we've reviewed all the information, we're gonna give you every single thing we have and can. But then suddenly in July, everything changed. You and Attorney General Pam Bondi released one video and said that there was nothing more to see. Your July memo says you uncovered more than 300 gigabytes of data and physical evidence, but that you had decided no further disclosure would be appropriate or warranted. That is a quote. I think what happened, Mr. Patel, is that suddenly you discovered that Donald Trump's name was all over these files, and you started a giant cover-up. So you are under oath, Mr. Patel. You just testified to Mr. Swalwell that you did not speak to the president about the Epstein files. To your knowledge, did Attorney General Pam Bondi speak to the president about what was in the Epstein files?
I can't speak for Attorney General Pam Bondi.
So to your knowledge, you don't have any information. The question was, do you have any knowledge? Do you have any knowledge?
I can't speak.
You are refusing to answer the question, so let me tell you that the Wall Street Journal reported that in May, Bondi told Trump that he was in the Epstein files, and at the same meeting said that the DOJ did not plan to release the files. Yesterday, you testified to Senator Kennedy that there was, quote, no credible information that Epstein trafficked girls to anyone else, and that you have, quote, continuously and publicly asked the public to come forward with more information, and we'll look into it. Today, in response to Mr. Massey's question, you appear to say that the survivors were not credible. These are survivors.
That's not at all what I said.
Okay, great. I'm going to ask you this in a second, but let me tell you about the survivors, and let's bring them up here into the room. These are women who came to the Hill and testified that they were groomed and raped at the age of 14 and 16 years old, and they called to meet with the president and to meet with the FBI and to have people investigate their claims. Some of them have never testified before. If you are so interested in getting the public to submit any information, why have you not met with them? You said you haven't met with them. Have you met with them? I'll give you one more chance.
My job as the FBI director is to invite
all investigative leads. Is the answer yes or no to whether or not you met with these women who were sexually abused and raped?
Any insinuation by you or any people on your side that I am not manhunting child predators and sex traffickers, just look at the stats. And you talk about cover-ups, man.
Mr. Chairman,
you talk about cover-ups.
And I will take as much time as I want.
Where were you during the Obama and Biden administrations when these so-called cover-ups were going on? Why didn't anyone in those administrations talk to any of these purported witnesses? I have
some regular order,
every single person to provide credible information.
Time belongs to the gentlelady from Washington.
And I'm going to take another couple of minutes.
When you accuse the witness of something, he's allowed to respond. That's how it works.
Listen, he didn't even, excuse me, Mr. Chairman, you have always been fair. But this is not fair.
And you will get
no, this is my time, and he said that the witnesses were not credible.
Seconds of time.
I'm going to get an additional minute of time because that's how much time he took.
You won't get a minute. You'll get some seconds. What we think is under 5 minutes. You don't get to demand how much time you get. That's not how it works.
Mr. Patel, are the victims of the Jeffrey Epstein horrific trafficking ring, are they credible?
Any person with information about ongoing sexual trafficking.
I'm asking you if they're credible.
Ma'am, I'm commenting on the evidence we have. But we have routinely asked for people to come forward with more evidence, and we will look at it. And the evidence that we have was the same evidence that the Biden and Obama Justice Departments had. And they determined, not me, they determined that that information was not credible.
Mr. Chairman, he's not letting me even ask my questions.
You ask the questions, he gives an answer. You may not like what he says,
No,
but that doesn't mean you get to interrupt
he's not answering
him.
my question.
Mr. Chairman, could we restore the gentlelady 45 seconds so she can
We will
complete
give her
her question?
additional 30 seconds, which is what I said
I'm
earlier.
going to keep taking my time. Because
you'll take
here's
the time
thing.
that you get. You get
are
30
not
seconds.
answering the question. The question
I
is,
have. You just don't like the answer.
Are these women credible? It's a yes or no answer.
I have answered the question.
Well,
and
what is
I keep
the
telling
answer?
you, I'm the only FBI director that has welcomed new information in this case. This
You're
administration is the only one that has welcomed any new information in this
Is there
case.
a yes or no to whether
Present
the
new credible
victims are
information.
credible?
Present new
Are
information.
the victims credible
The victims-
or not?
I'll tell you what happened in the last Trump
Are
administration.
they credible or not? You can't even
Victims
say.
credibly came forward, and you know what happened? President Trump authorized the indictments
President
of Jeffrey
Trump
Epstein,
called
not
them
Biden,
a hoax.
not Obama,
President Trump
no one
called
else.
the entire thing a Democratic hoax. So I would like to ask
The
you,
gentlelady's
if
time has
you
expired.
will
I gave her the additional
if
45
you-
seconds she
if you
requested.
will
The
meet-
gentlelady yields back. The gentleman from
Mr.
New
Chairman,
Jersey is
I would like
recognized
to
for his
ask if
5
you would
minutes.
meet with the women who were sexually
time does not belong.
abused and raped and
time
groomed
does
at
not
the
belong
ages
to the
of
gentlelady from
14
Washington.
and
The time now
16
belongs-
years old. Are
the
you
time-
going to cover up?
No, I'm
Are
not
you
gonna-
going to
I'm
continue
gonna
to
recognize
cover
the
up
gentleman
for
from
the
New Jersey
rich
for
and
his 5 minutes.
powerful men, including those that might be on this committee?
I can yell
Or
too,
are
Mr.
you
Chairman,
going
but I don't want to yell
allow
above
them
this.
to
The time belongs
testify?
to the gentleman from New Jersey. I
Are
appreciate
you
the
going to allow
gentlelady
them to
yielding
testify,
back.
Mr. Patel?
Go ahead,
Will
Mr.
you
Angelo.
allow them to testify to you,
Mr. Patel, Mr. Patel, thank you for being here. I know it's been an interesting and difficult 2 days. And I wasn't going to talk about the Epstein thing because there's a lot of other issues that affect the FBI, but I have to say a few words. I've sat
What unfolded in that hearing wasn't just another partisan clash. It was a confrontation that forces us to confront one of the darkest and most unresolved scandals of our time, the Jeffrey Epstein case and the fight over whether the truth will ever fully come out. When Representative Pramila Jayapal looked Kash Patel in the eye and asked if Epstein's victims are credible, it was more than a pointed question. It was a moral challenge. Behind every hearing, every file, every piece of redacted evidence are real people, survivors who carry the scars of abuse and who have waited decades for answers. For them, credibility isn't a political talking point. It's about dignity, about being believed, and about whether America's justice system will ever recognize their voices without hesitation or excuse. Patel's response, insisting there's no credible information that Epstein trafficked women and girls to others, didn't just frustrate lawmakers, it ignited outrage among survivors themselves, who have openly accused him of walking back on his own promises of full transparency. Months ago, Patel boldly declared there would be no cover-ups, no hidden files, that every stone would be turned. Yet now, with over 300 gigabytes of evidence in government hands, and with FD 302 witness interview reports still locked away, survivors are asking, what changed? And that's where the deeper lesson lies. This isn't just about one man's testimony. It's about how power bends truth. It's about whether political influence, from billionaires to former presidents to foreign princes, can shield people from accountability. Because history shows us that institutions sometimes protect the powerful first, and only later, if ever, do they deliver justice to the vulnerable. The legal nuances matter here too. The 2008 non-prosecution agreement that let Epstein escape major federal charges doesn't cover the FD 302s, those FBI interview memos survivors keep pushing to be released. That means the files exist, the information is there. The question is not whether the evidence exists. The question is whether those in power are willing to let the public see it. Notice also how this hearing spiraled. Jayapal pressing hard, Patel deflecting, voices raised, tempers flaring. That kind of explosive atmosphere shows us just how sensitive this case still is, how even seasoned officials lose composure when Epstein's name is brought up. Why? Because the stakes are enormous. This scandal isn't just about past crimes. It's about ongoing trust in the very institutions meant to uphold justice. The Epstein story is haunting precisely because it lives at the intersection of wealth, politics, secrecy, and silence. And every time the government withholds evidence or officials dismiss survivor testimony, it reinforces the fear that truth is being buried once again. So the question isn't just whether Kash Patel has changed his stance. The real question is whether America is willing to face the full scope of what Epstein's network represented, and whether survivors will finally get the justice they've been promised for far too long. And here's where you, the viewer, come in. Don't just watch the shouting match. Ask yourself, do you believe the promise of transparency has been kept? Do you think survivors deserve more than political wordplay and selective disclosure? And what happens to trust in democracy if powerful names remain hidden behind redactions? If these questions matter to you, stay informed, stay critical, and don't let the pressure for answers fade. Because hearings like this are not the end of the story. They are reminders that justice delayed is justice denied. And unless people demand accountability, the truth risks being lost to silence.